Welcome back. It has already been a very busy year here in Quincy with all kinds of events taking place, free events at the Hancock Adams Common and beyond, but there's so much more to come. So Special Events Manager John McDonald is here to tell us what's next.
What's next,
Yeah.
Joe?
Happy
The
summer,
list.
first
Hey,
of
same
all.
to you.
Thank you.
It feels like June just flew by.
Doesn't it though?
What happened to June?
Yeah,
We're already in July.
we were just at the Flag Day parade and here we are.
And dare I say, Christmas is around the corner.
Oh, don't say that.
Well, Christmas in July.
Oh, there you go. Excellent. As I said, it has been a busy
Yes.
spring, now summer so far. What are some of the highlights? I know Kids Fest was like your signature event, right?
Kids Fest, second year in a row.
Yeah.
We try to do it the weekend after the kids get out of school, but of course there was snow days, so they had to make up a couple days, but it was packed. We were working with Revolution, and we had a whole soccer tournament, and then all the other things that we normally do, puppet shows and things like that, and reptile shows. We probably had 1,500 to 2,000 people all day long.
That's amazing.
And it was a long day, but it was great because people could do their Saturday chores and go into other things and then stop by. Plus the watch party was happening that
Right
very
down the
same
street.
day. And then there was a big event up at Pageant Field. So it was a very busy day, but it
Yes.
was very successful.
Well, that's
We're
great to hear.
thrilled. Yeah,
That's
second
great.
year.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
Annual now, right?
Now it's
gonna-
annual.
Every year?
Yes.
Yeah. So as I said, what's next,
next?
John? Yeah.
So this coming Thursday,
Yep.
on July 2nd, we have the patriotic celebration that we've done annually, but it's normally on the 5th. But the mayor didn't want to compete with the maritime thing that's going on, which I'll speak up to in a minute.
Sure.
So he asked, could we switch it to the Thursday night? And in retrospect, it actually is a better date because the city's off the next day.
Yeah.
So, and it's going to be great. We have 12 historic assets. They're going to be showing some of their memorabilia and other kinds of things. They bring them out of their own spots and bring them down into the city of Quincy.
Like
Like the group that does the Granite Museum.
Yes.
They'll bring artifacts and things
good.
of that
Very
nature.
good.
So,
Yeah.
and each of them will follow their own suit, deciding what they want to bring.
Sure.
And it's informative because there's a chance for you to understand what it is they do in their own locations.
Definitely,
So it's a give and take, questions and answers,
Okay.
pick up some literature, have conversations. And then the historic person for the city of Quincy, Bob Damon, working with our graphics designer, Aaron Glennon, they've created these amazing panels that will be a part of that as a display that has a lot of information about Quincy and John Hancock and John Adams.
Nice.
We've been working with the Adams papers, so they sent us a lot of stuff that we've put on poster boards. We can't actually get the historic papers.
Certainly,
But so that's great. And then we have a swing orchestra. We have a gentleman coming from the Voice who's singing.
Really?
Lucas, yes. It's going to be like a Pops concert, like you would see on the Esplanade.
Oh, okay.
We also have the Navy fife and drum coming, and they're going to shoot off the muskets, and they'll
neat.
do a bit of a presentation. And this year we added the Daughters of American Revolution, the Quincy chapter, and also the state chapter. That's going to be really impressive, and they are parading in, giving the mayor a citation of some sort. I didn't get involved with that, but there will be something for him. He'll lead and do the welcome and all of that. And then there's a surprise, which I really can't say because it's a big surprise,
Okay.
but I would suggest you get there by 5 o'clock. It starts at 4.
Okay.
But the parade with the surprise at the end is really something to be seen.
Can you give us a little hint?
It involves, let's see, how do I do this
Yeah.
without giving it away?
No, we don't want to give it away.
Yeah,
but
we don't want to give it
But
away.
we want to give it a little tease.
Yeah, a little tease.
Yeah. What will folks learn?
It's not that, they will learn about the Paul Revere ride.
Oh, okay.
That was a good,
Okay.
that's a good tip. That's a very good tip. Think about that a little harder and you'll figure it out. And there are 5 of them.
Oh, okay.
So we'll leave it. I think
I
you
know.
got it.
Okay. Oh, that sounds like a lot of fun.
It's really
actually.
great.
Okay.
And then we have an author coming that has written a book about John Hancock. We do a lot in the city of the Adams family, of course, but we decided to bring someone in that would give a little tweak to the Hancock.
Right.
To
First
John.
governor of Massachusetts.
And he signed the Declaration.
Oh, yeah,
so
that-
I think that might be,
Yeah.
he's the first one.
So big that the
Yeah.
king would need his spectacles to read it. Yeah.
Right. So it's going to be great. And the swing, I worked with the Social Children's Chorus last night and the Quincy Choral Society.
fantastic.
They are doing the finale and the encore with the orchestra. And it's
Oh.
magnificent.
With the orchestra?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
You have no idea. Last night, I said, if you make me cry, then you've done your job.
Yeah.
I was teary-eyed.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's going to be really important because we talk about the 250th and what it was like, you know, as a country starting out, sending your sons to war. And then the second song is more about where we are now and where we're going for the
Okay.
future.
And you know, we forget, but at that time, the Revolutionary War began, there was no like professional soldiers, no professional
Yes.
military. These were farmers,
Correct.
fishermen,
Picking up arms and
and
joining.
literally defending their
Yes.
homes. Yeah.
So it's really a poignant, emotional end to the celebration.
Yeah.
So we're excited about
That
it.
sounds
so, Yeah, 4 to
fantastic.
9 p.m. on this Thursday.
Okay. Very good.
We should mention a little bit about the heat that's
Yeah, we
coming.
should, yeah.
So we're trying to get a misting tent. We're working on that now.
Okay.
And there is a tent for people that I normally have out on the common, in front of the stage for the shows. But then a lot of people bring their own little tents and they have their own lawn chairs and they
Yes.
sit in the shaded area.
Yep.
So they should plan on that.
Okay.
We do have 2 food trucks and we have adult beverages for sale. So there is, water and juices and
Okay.
things like that
Good to know.
available. They could. We don't allow coolers, but they could bring their own water and the Yeti things
Okay.
or whatever.
All right,
so
all right.
to keep hydrated.
And it doesn't start until 4, so that's kind of past the heat of the day.
I feel that way.
Yeah.
I think people are a little nervous, but I've heard maybe 4 to 5 it still might be hot, but 5 o'clock and until 9 it should. Hopefully a cool breeze will arrive.
Yeah, and you can find shade at that hour.
Yes.
There's plenty of green space and,
Yes.
and trees, and the sun's at a different angle, so
Correct.
you've got some shade.
Right.
So, just be mindful of it.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And we can always, there's the visitor center, they can
Yep.
go in and, we can get water when
Yep,
needed. So.
yep. Places to cool off.
Right,
If
and the
need
fire department will be there, and the police department will be
course,
there. So
yes.
if there is any kind of an emergency, we'll handle it.
instant response.
Right,
So, yeah.
right.
4 to 9. That's free, right?
Right.
No admission or anything.
Nope.
Yeah, that's fantastic. All right.
There
And
was
but we
I
don't-
should mention
yes.
there's a grant from the 250th celebration. We got a grant for some of the programming
Oh.
at this event.
Oh, okay.
Which is really exciting because when we plan these events, we try to have sponsorship, funding sources, and this grant really, it did a lot for this program.
Well, this is a once in a. I mean, this is not going to be an annual event. This is
Right.
only 1/250, right?
Right.
So-
We'll go back to probably the regular July 4th celebration next
The
year.
patriotic
Yeah, the patriotic
celebration.
celebration.
Yeah.
Right.
But it doesn't stop there.
Nope.
No. That's just the kickoff.
That's right.
Yeah. What's next?
So, in staying with July,
Yes.
we have the second annual,
Yep.
Maritime Festival, which is the 3rd through the 5th down at Marina Bay.
Yeah.
Wildly successful
Yeah,
last
it
year.
was. Surprisingly so, I think. Yeah.
And all of the restaurants reported back to us that they had done so well that perhaps within those 3 days, they did more business than they had done in other periods that they were tracking.
Wow.
I don't know. For some reason, I remember someone saying better than last summer, but I can't imagine in 3 days you did better than last summer, but maybe. So, but there's news. The Army Band is coming.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
So that is very exciting. It
Yeah.
kicks off at 2 o'clock. Any of the things that I'm mentioning today, you can go on to the city page and under special events, and you can also go on to Discover Quincy.
Certainly,
To
yeah.
get the more specific information.
Okay. That is at Marina Bay. That's a 3-day event.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Correct.
Excellent. Free again.
Right.
Which is
Well,
amazing.
the cocktails and restaurants, I would
Oh,
say,
certainly,
yeah, they
yeah.
would have to pay for that. But the children's entertainers, the
Yep.
adult entertainers, all of that is part of it.
Yeah.
Free.
Now, this, as you mentioned, is a second annual event, and there's free parking as well. Is that right?
Yeah, I was not involved in the parking
okay.
situation.
All right.
I know that over at Squantum Point Park,
Yeah.
which is MDC, but there's
Right.
800 spots there.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
it's kind of a best kept secret, so everyone
Yes.
doesn't think about it all the time. But I also think they're working on arrangements or have already arranged for other parking as well.
Okay, excellent. And there's going to be more too later on in July down there, right?
Yes. So we'll skip to that right now, and then I'll
Okay.
come back to the watch party. So the Tall Ship is coming
Yeah.
from Denmark, and it's a topsail schooner, 158 feet, and I don't want to mispronounce the name, so go to those pages and look it up. Let me spell it for your viewers: Oosterschelde.
Okay.
And I can't pronounce it.
Pronounce it as you will.
As you will.
Yes. Okay.
I don't want to do a disservice to the great tall ship
Right.
that's coming from Denmark, which is so exciting. That the tall ship's coming in earlier into Boston, obviously,
Right.
when that comes every 4 or 5 years. That's exciting.
Yeah.
But to have one
In Quincy.
after the fact
Yeah.
in Quincy, they're going to be led by a police and fire brigade on water. That they're coming in a little early. They're coming in the day before. So
Okay.
it's the 17th through the 19th. Did I mention those dates?
No.
Okay, 17th through 19th, but it arrives on the 16th.
Okay.
And you know how the fire has those the boats that
Oh, the sprays.
the sprays,
Yes,
yes,
yeah,
for
the-
lack of a better
yeah.
term. So they'll be guiding it in with the police boat. So on the 16th, that nothing really will be happening. But
Okay.
if you're down at Marina Bay and you want to watch it come in, it's
Yeah.
great. We don't know if the sail will be up. We're not sure about that.
All right.
But
Really makes a spectacular presence.
yeah,
once
and then
it's at full
then you can
sail.
go on board. You know,
Oh, you can?
yes,
Okay.
from the 17th through the 19th.
Excellent.
So it's a great take.
Yeah.
We're very excited.
It's well worth it. I remember the bicentennial, as we were talking earlier,
Mm-hmm.
and you do too, when the tall ships came, and it was a huge event.
Huge
because
event.
People came from all over to see them.
Well, you'll
across the
remember
river.
the
Yes.
Queen came.
Yes.
The Queen was here. So that really, I think,
That tells you. Right.
So
Yeah.
we don't have a Queen this time,
No.
so or a Prince or a King. But we do have a tall ship.
Yes. Yeah. That's a feather in the city's cap. I think,
Absolutely. That was a
really.
home run call
Yeah.
that happened. Yeah.
So neat. Okay. Did you say watch parties?
Yeah, no,
Aren't,
in
aren't
fact-
those over?
No, I thought they were. When we were talking earlier, I was like, we already did the watch party, but as not a soccer aficionado, there's going to be a watch party again on Kilroy Square, 19th and 20th
Oh.
of July.
Oh.
Now, the free event was more than a home run. It
Yes.
was so well attended. People behaved themselves. We had a lot of people from Scotland. Everything about the event was just top notch. And it was hard for the city because we have all these different departments trying to run 3 events at the same time. And you prepare for something that potentially could happen. Nothing happened. It was perfect.
That's great.
They loved the experience. They loved watching it. If you can't go and you don't want to watch it on your home and you want to be with friends, this is the right place to go to enjoy it.
Yeah.
And it's outside.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, there's a
and
big screen set up.
And the screen, and then there's the trattoria, and there's the fours, and they bring in a vendor that sells also additional beer, and you can't go wrong.
Yeah.
Then there's also the street also has Alba and what's the other name? Not 16C. The strip there that has restaurants.
Yeah.
They're all open as well.
Yeah.
So it's great for the downtown drifters. All these businesses are taking advantage of this concept.
It's fantastic,
Yeah.
and I know there's some things for the kids to do as well.
Yes.
If they want to bring their kids, they had
Right.
some miniature kind of soccer nets set
that's
up
right.
and some cornhole. So
Right. The
something
mayor
for everyone.
has said often that when we do these events, we have to consider the family element
Yes.
and then also the businesses.
Yeah.
Like those are maybe the top 2. I can't think of, just the idea of families are looking for things to do
true.
and then free things to do.
Especially now,
and then
yeah.
supporting the businesses. You have to support the downtown community and other business, and we all try to do that in the monthly events
Yes.
by bringing others into the common.
Yeah,
So-
Kilroy Square is becoming a destination place.
Yes.
It took a little while to kind of catch on, I think.
Yeah.
But now that there's an actual community in Quincy Center.
That's right.
That didn't exist before.
And so many places that people are living now,
Yes.
they can just come downstairs and boom,
And
there's a
it's
party
at
going
their
on.
doorstep.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's
So
kind of
that's-
like big
that's
city feel
working.
here in Quincy. Whoever would have thought?
Right.
And we're not done there though.
No, we still, have we finished July? I think we did.
Yes.
So now I'm into August.
Yes.
So we're very excited. The 70s, 80s, 90s dance party. That's become an annual event.
Has it really?
Oh yeah, and it's crazy fun. Let's put it that way. And it has a disco element
Yeah,
and the bands, and so the legendary Blue Notes are coming
Okay, I've
this
heard of
year.
them, yeah.
So that should be a draw, and a couple of other bands that are opening for that event. And we provide silly hats that are enormous, and they do conga lines and balloons and tossing the balls and the beach balls and all of
Yes.
that, and the food trucks and everything. It's just a party. It's a
Okay.
dance party. So. You should come.
When is that? That's reliving my childhood. You were describing
Exactly.
it. Yeah.
You have your platform shoes
Yeah,
still in
for
your
sure.
bell-bottom pants.
Bell-bottoms,
Yeah.
and patent white leather
Exactly.
belts.
That's August 15th, and that's 2 to 7.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That's a good one.
Plan ahead.
Right. So let's see. Do we have time? Because I have two more.
Yeah, you got about 4 minutes.
Okay, so the Quincy Symphony Orchestra, Quincy
Yeah.
Choral Society Pops Concert. It's the annual, I think I'm at number 5 with them, I think. And that's September 12th at 4 p.m.
Okay.
You can't go wrong.
This is my favorite event, actually.
Me too, because you know we are lucky in the city to have a symphony orchestra, to have a choral society, to have an art association. I mean, this is one of the reasons why the mayor is talking a lot about having a performance arts center. But it's you feel like you are at the Esplanade
Very
with
much
the
so.
professional Boston Pops.
No question.
They're of that caliber. And the two directors, Sarah and Yochi, are just premier themselves.
Absolutely,
And
yeah.
so
And very personable too. You
Yes.
know, I mean, when you go, it's a very intimate experience because they come down, talk to the folks in the audience, explain the music to them.
Yes.
You know, ask questions.
Right.
You don't get that at the BSO. you know?
No. And you know, someday my vision is to eventually have it be really like a Pops concert where I could have round tables
Oh.
for 3 or 4 and maybe have some cheese and crackers,
Oh, all
for,
right.
you know, and you know, table class. It's cost
Like a dinner
prohibitive
show.
right now.
Yeah.
You know, you have to watch your budget.
Sure,
So
yeah.
that, you know, someday maybe a sponsor will come along and say, hey, that's a great idea. Let's, you know, up the game.
Okay.
But it's a great take.
Okay, and that's
Yeah.
the September 11th weekend, right? It's the 9/11 kind of
Yes,
anniversary weekend.
it's the September 12th.
12th,
Yeah,
okay.
and that's at 4 p.m.
right on the common.
Then, yes, at the Common.
Yep.
Then the last one, which I think I'm in my 10th year maybe, is the annual Food Truck Music Fest. And we're very excited. That's October 3rd. It's always the first Saturday in October.
Okay.
And it's always from 12 to 6. That never changes,
Okay.
so people can plan. There are 35 food trucks.
Wow.
We have 5 children's entertainers, and then we have 3 bands on the main stage. I'll get back to that in a second.
Okay.
And then we have adult beverages for sale. We have some nonprofit vendors that are on the lawn of the library. And it's a tradition that is growing and growing. We've had upwards, depending on the weather, somewhere between 5,000 and 7,500 people
It's
all
amazing.
day long. It's amazing. And people look for it every year. And I try to change up the food trucks themselves so that it's not the same every year. And I want different ethnicities to be represented. And so we have some new people coming this year that I think people are going to be pleased with.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's along Coddington Street.
That's all Coddington Street for the trucks.
Yep.
And then on the library lawn is the kids portion.
Okay.
Their stage faces toward like Washington Street and the post office,
Okay.
so that there's not a competition with the main stage. The main stage is on the Coddington lot, and that faces Quincy High.
Gotcha.
So there's
Okay.
there's no chance of
Yep.
having that conflict there.
Sure.
So the news is ABBA is coming. It's not the real ABBA, but it's a close facsimile.
Neat.
They're really great.
I bet.
You'll feel like it's ABBA.
Mamma mia.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I know it's going to, it sounds cheesy and schmaltzy and whatever, but everyone loves ABBA music.
They're universal.
Please.
Yeah.
I worked at the Colonial Theater when the ABBA shows would come in, and I found myself as house manager standing in the back singing all the songs
It's
and moving to the
infectious,
music.
for sure. Yeah.
So that
and
then
everybody knows it.
Everyone knows the
Yeah.
song, so every single song.
Absolutely,
So,
yeah.
so I think, well, then we'll talk Christmas, but I don't feel like I'm not in the mood.
We'll have you back for that.
Yeah, we're not in the mood.
City website you mentioned,
Right.
Discover Quincy
Correct.
as well, and social media, I'm guessing. too.
Yes,
Yeah.
plenty on the social
Okay.
media. Yeah.
John, great to see you.
Thank you. Great to see you.
Thanks for coming by.
Thank you.
Stay cool.
You